Hi, Joe. Good
Hey.
morning.
You and the funky counting. I'm telling you, it's like the funky chicken, but it's counting instead of the chicken.
What the heck is the funky chicken?
I hear it's a kind of a dance, but I don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to dance well anyway. Um,
And if your
so,
man can't dance,
huh?
what?
Joe Man can't dance?
Yes.
That's right.
I was going to reference some song, but I don't remember it anymore. So
But you can dance if you want to.
I can?
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
you can.
No.
We made it. We're here together. Together again.
Surprise. I'm actually a
Joe.
moving picture today.
It's amazing.
There's
You look
most
good too, man. Look at that. Look at that. Nice blue. You're wearing a blue shirt yesterday.
I was going to say, this might be the same shirt. I don't know though.
I think
I have a lot of blue shirts.
it's possible. Your hair looks different though. You got a different haircut.
Dude. Well, yeah,
You
that's
do?
because that video was from like
That's from 2 years
middle
ago.
of quarantine. Oh, 2 years ago.
That's from Yeah, that was from 2018. That picture from yesterday.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's okay.
I grabbed one that where you would look awake.
You shouldn't have done that. That's false advertising.
You're like, it's too early. Let me wipe my eye.
Hmm. Yes, static. You are correct. The B for Joe B was blue. Joe Blue.
Yes. Happy birthday, Psyche.
Well, they're sad that they turned old, I guess.
It's another year older. I understand. I get those one every I don't even keep track of my age anymore. I just stopped
Hmm.
at 19, apparently,
Yep.
which means everybody else keeps getting older. I stay the same age.
Hmm. Take that, other
Hmm.
people. Wait, I'm other people. Dang it. So yeah, welcome to the Double Cup of Joe show, where we talk about lots of stuff, uh, and and we get some great hand arm dance things from Joe. It's great. It's really the best. He's actually performing an interpretive dance. I think he wants to fight me.
Practice my form.
Oh,
Actually, it'd be really hard with this headphone cord. I would really wreck a bunch of stuff. It involves all kinds of kicks and spinning,
ooh,
and yeah, that wouldn't be very good. I'd get all tangled up and die.
no, we don't want that. So let's do this show instead.
And my stool would fall over.
Ooh, you don't want to lose your stool. That'd be bad.
I know, man. You don't want to lose your stool in many ways.
Anyway, let's just kind of move on from that. We're this is the Double Cup of Joe show where we talk about different topics, different ideas, either brought to us by you or topics we come up with ourselves. We really just like to talk and hang out in the morning. Well,
Mhm.
okay, we like to hang out. I don't know about the morning part, but we're we're doing it in the morning anyway. So,
Yeah. Eventually we might change this show. It'll be very interesting. We might end up making it so Joe has no idea what I'm talking about yet. He's like,
no.
"What is this?
He's like, let's
You're
go
gonna
forward even
you're gonna make a
earlier.
change? Yes, let's make it earlier even." No, I was thinking it might be cool to make this a pre-recorded show again if we had the time to edit it and everything, and then make live stream the taping of it. Live stream the recording of like a whole bunch of shows at once. And then anybody who wants to participate in that 2 hour or however long session we have, they can come and participate. But then we can then edit it and release it for a later date. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Hmm,
But
interesting.
yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, that can't happen right now. We don't have the time.
The making of the podcast. Very interesting.
Yes.
And detective, deceit of egg, deceiveness. Um, it
It's
is extremely broken. Don't lie to yourself. We know the truth,
it actually looks good today because I'm not producing it.
and we can see you.
Yeah,
Look good.
yeah. Which, well, I don't know about that, but we can see you, and that makes it look good. Well, we saw you yesterday. It was just 2 years younger you.
Oh, I forgot about that time machine I developed. Okay, so uh, we have a 3-step routine. We should we
We do.
should we should do that. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
we
oh
should.
yeah. There's I gotta announce what that
You're like
is.
the announcer guy. Don't forget, like you take a day off, and then all of a sudden you forget how to host the
I
show.
don't even know how this works anymore. What do we do on this show? Um,
It's weird. It's so weird. Like you should. I'm gonna make you do a show by yourself sometime because you got to fill up all the space with words on your own. You know how hard that is?
oh man, I think it could be fun. I would run out of words though. I already run out of words, and I only talk for like 5 minutes sometimes. I don't know how I would talk for an hour, but maybe maybe we'll do that one day. That'll be interesting. That'll be really interesting.
Yep. I'm gonna just not show up one day, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, do the show by myself."
I'm totally for you. You're not gonna get an old Joe picture. There's gonna be a stick figure drawn on paint, just a little arrow. It'll say Joe A right here.
That's very. You'd probably take a picture of like Haruka or something, or one of those, one of the Meteor girls or something, and here's Joe. Look at that. What do you mean?
Everyone would understand. Let's embrace the awkward together. You're pretending to be the host. Yeah. Yeah, we don't tell people that they're gonna embrace the awkward with us. They just kind of have to.
Yep.
Whether or not you do it with us is really up to you, and whether or not you do the 3-step routine with us is really up to you. But we highly encourage it. It's a great way to start out your morning. And really, there's no other way to start out your morning, so might as well do it this way.
That's right.
Um, 3-step routine. Quick 3 questions to ask yourself to kind of get your mind framed in the right direction, as it were. These 3 questions, very simple, very short, very quick. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you going to do today to move your life forward? Super quick.
Whoa.
I'm going to ask Joe a little bit shorter than or slower than that when I actually ask him, but there you go. Those are 3 quick questions.
When you talk fast, I get excited. You don't want me to get excited.
Oh no. We frightened Joe. Joe is very easily frightened with fast words and quick talking. Um, but feel free to drop your answers in the chat. We'd love to hear them. We'd love for you to be a part of this. So, without a further ado, Joe, what are you thankful for today?
I'm thankful for today, man. It's Wednesday. It's a day where I don't have to go out into the field to do inspections. And I'm very thankful for that. I get all kinds of other stuff to do besides inspections. More important things to do, I think, because it's all related to Black Static and Swerve and all the stuff we're creating here. So it's way exciting for me.
Very exciting. I look forward to hearing about it.
You will get to. Because we got a meeting tonight.
Yep.
Cool. That's what I'm thankful for.
That's awesome. Great to be thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
So, we would like to hear what you guys have to say. But it looks like Egg says they're thankful for their amazing bed, which they're going to stay in.
Yes, like a Minecraft bed.
Really, just these people are just rubbing it in. I think Ryan said he's thankful for us.
He did.
Yes, I can't see
He's
that
thankful
part of
for
the
us
screen.
guys, and he's looking forward to us guys, and he's gonna do. uh, well, wait a minute.
He's gonna do yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's good. It's good for you, bro.
Yes.
It's very relaxing and stuff. It's not really relaxing from what I've heard, unless you do it a lot. Because
Well, at
apparently,
the end of it, you might be relaxed because at the end of it, you let go, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm done.
there. That's what
Did I
we
tell you
want.
about my? Did I tell you about the new workout program I found?
No,
Oh, it's amazing. You should try it. You would hurt.
I would hurt no matter what. So,
I'm in decent shape, and I hurt. This guy, he's Ukrainian. His name is Igor Oitenko.
you mean Russian? Or actually Canadian?
He's from Ukraine.
Ukrainian. Oh my goodness, I can't hear this word.
Ukrainian. Yes. Yes. And it's hard. It's all no weights, no equipment, no nothing. Just all, you know, all using your body, and and you have to use a towel. Some of them you use a towel for some stuff, but that's it, man. And I'm just like, wow, like, and he packs a whole bunch into like 7 minutes, and you're like, what? So it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah. Good thing I always keep my towel with me.
Yes, yes, you must never lose track of your towel. Always need your towel. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you found something. Hopefully, you don't die.
Nah, it's gonna be good, man.
Cool. All right. So that's step number one. What are you thankful for? Step number two is, of course, what are you looking forward to? Go. What are you looking forward to?
Mm. I could say, you know what? I could be like, like a lot of people be like, "Hey, I'm thankful that today's a BSS day. I'm looking forward to today being a BSS day, and today I'm going to make it a BSS day." But I'm going to change it up
Oh.
because that's obvious. If I'm thankful for that, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm going to do that. That's obvious. So I'm actually looking forward to in like 10 days, my youngest son will be testing for his black belt. And I'm looking forward to experiencing that.
Hmm.
Now he is everything's kind of opening up again, so they're opening up, the school for, smaller number of class of
Mm-hmm.
attendance for classes and stuff, but we're still doing everything virtually from a distance, because my youngest son actually is immune system compromised, and so we have to be like extra careful. Um, so we worked it out so he has a private black belt test,
Hmm.
which means probably I'm gonna have to suit up and spar him along with his brother because we're family members, so we can be in contact with each other, and he will have to spar some people in order to pass his test. And so, because of his immune system, probably they're going to be like, "Okay, Mr. Anderson, and you get to spar your son," and I'll be like, "Oh boy, it's gonna be fun." Because sparring my kids is always a good time. But I'm looking forward to seeing how all that rolls out, and I'm super confident in his ability to pass. But it was a blast watching his older brother test and throw his whole heart into something, and I'm looking forward to with him.
Mhm. Don't get beat up too much, Joe.
I will get beat up. Although it's different when you get beat up by a kid and then when you get beat up by another dad.
It is.
There's this one guy. Man, I get to spar this one dad, Mr. Morgan.
Mr. Morgan.
And I'll tell you, this guy, it's like his bones are made of like titanium or something. Cause
Wolverine.
like anytime I catch like a shin, we have like a shin to shin, like
Oof.
something. I just want to like fall on the ground and cry. But I can't do that at martial arts class because there's no crying at martial arts class unless you're a tiny tiger. Then there's a lot of crying.
Unless you're a tiny tiger.
That's like the preschoolers.
Oh, I'd totally cry. It intimidates the other person if you're bawling your eyes out while you continue to fight them.
Yes, that's true.
Nobody can really do anything when somebody's bawling their eyes out and then throws a mean right hook. I don't know if you can do that in Taekwondo, but
yeah. Well, you can't punch to the face legally.
Wow. Ah.
I mean, you can do anything, but legally, like according to the rules of sparring, you can't. However, in the real world, there are no rules. Like it's just like grab whatever you can and smash them with it. Like
folding chair.
look around for a weapon and just use it.
Detective Egg, you did not hear our countdown this morning, so I don't know if Joe would fully agree with your assessment, but
I would not at all. He went from 12 to 2. Like that is not proper counting. Not no subtraction.
Yep. Well, it would be. It's just I subtracted 10 instead of 1. So looks like we've got Static says they're looking forward to finishing a Criminal Idol video. Detective Egg is looking forward to a new Criminal Idol video. Convenient. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Detective says, "Wow, isn't black belt like very difficult to get?" Yes, it is. You got this is the culmination of 5 years of training.
Oh. Ooh, 5 years.
5 years of training, and the test is ridiculously hard and intimidating.
Why?
Why is it intimidating? Well, you've got a much longer form than you've ever experienced before. So in a form that's like he'll have to memorize like somewhere around 40 moves in a row, for his form. And then and then you have to spar, like you end up sparring. Just depends on how the instructor feels that day. Sometimes you only spar for about 10 minutes. Sometimes you spar for 20. It just depends. And so, you do your forms, and then you've got board breaking that tests your accuracy and power of your moves. And you've got 3 tries for that. And if you don't get one of them, then you don't get it. So I'm not sure what his board breaks are going to be, but yeah. So there's that, and then there's sparring, and then there's a fitness test, which I work on constantly because I don't want to look like a doofus when I do it. But yeah, you've got to do like 30 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and then a whole bunch of kicking and punching combinations, all in a very limited time period. And so you're like, you got to finish all this stuff. But the most challenging part, honestly, is the sparring. Because when you spar 1-minute rounds for 20 minutes, and you're like, I had no idea how exhausting it was until I actually got there and started sparring. Because when you have to, everything you have is like defending, and then you also got to be like throwing attacks too, and it's by the 5th minute, you're like, actually, by the end of the 2nd minute, it's kind of like that.
I'd be halfway through the first round and I'd be like that. So,
Yep, it's a very difficult test. And then like it's funny for 3rd degrees. I remember watching this gal working for her 3rd degree. It was actually the girl who kicked me to the floor, and she's like 13 years old. And I was like, whoa. But when I was watching her belt test, when my oldest son passed his test in December, he was doing it for his 1st degree, and then they had the 2nd degrees and 3rd degrees and everybody else all testing at the same time as well. She had to spar, I think 3 people at the same time. Like, so there were 3 people attacking her, and she had to like fight off 3 people for, 5 minutes or something like that. So it gets pretty crazy.
Yes, Static agrees. He says, "Woolly coo."
Woolly coo. But yes, he is now a ninja. He knows this. And one of the cool things is once you get to black belt, you'll never be another color belt. It's like, now I'm here and I made it. And that's something you can just always put under your belt. Now, we'll probably have to register his hands as lethal weapons with the state. But
you have to register his hands as lethal weapons.
And his feet. But hey.
Dear state, these hands are lethal.
There's probably a tax involved with that.
Undoubtedly. Wait, I don't feel like they can't tax your hands.
They would find a way.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the government. They tax land.
I get you right off. I clipped my nails. That's a deduction.
Hey, nice.
I guess the hand tax.
There's less of them there now. See, look, manicure.
Beautiful, Joe. Beautiful. All right, wow, we're only 2 steps through the 3-step routine, and it's already 6:30. So let's go ahead and go to the last step. So what are you going to do
I'm
today?
stalling because I don't have much to say about this topic.
So, Joe, what are you going to do today?
Today, well, I got to go back to BSS Day. I have got like 4 songs that I'm working on today. And I'm excited for all 4 of them. And that's going to be great. Like, hopefully I can finish 1 and then work on the other 3. But I might just, I have to give myself a time limit, or else, I start to just, when you listen to something long enough, it just starts to be like, and you need to freshen up your ears a little bit, because it's like, it just gets mundane and you start missing stuff. So I have to like change the channel every so often and work on a different song, or else I just start not accomplishing things. So I'm working on 4 different instrumentals for the new single dual instrumental album coming out in the next couple of months. And yeah, that's what I'm doing today. What are you doing today? Yeah.
Hopefully I get to leave on time. Probably not, though.
Yeah. Did you have a good anniversary yesterday?
Yeah, it was really good. I went to bed super early, which was sad, but we came home, had a nice dinner, went out for a while. We removed the front step from our house.
Oh, now you have to jump.
Yes. 3 feet divided by 3.
3 feet divided by 3, 1.
Yeah, it's the 1 foot step. It's not. There's no jumping. You step right up in the house. But yep. So we got to do that. Nobody got hurt, thankfully, because the screws that had screwed the step into our deck were like rusted. The whole head of the screw was like rusted, so I wasn't extracting them via Screwdriver, I had to do it by force. So we forcibly removed them.
Yes. Yeah, that always gets to be a conundrum.
Hashtag crowbars.
Ah. And
Hashtag.
muscles.
No. Yeah, sure, muscles.
Crowbars and muscles.
Leverage. Lemerage.
Mm. Get a long enough crowbar, you could lift the world.
Yep.
Or you could break into the world.
Break into the world. Time to rob the globe. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and get onto our topic. Today we're talking about selfishness. I think, unless Joe switched on me, but I don't think he did. So we're talking about
Oh,
selfishness, but specifically dealing with others' selfishness.
yes.
And since I'm the selfish one of the group, we're gonna kick it over to Joe, who's gonna talk about my selfishness. I mean, other people's selfishness.
Oh, that's great. Dealing with somebody else's selfish. If you guys have any thoughts, feel free to put them in the chat. We that worked out really awesome yesterday. When I was here by myself, and I was like, hey, whatever you're thinking of this topic, feel free to post it. And the funny thing is I had stuff prepared yesterday, and I didn't even get to it because I was too busy just expounding on the stuff that you guys were putting in the chat. It was really cool. But at any rate, for today, um, there's one main component in dealing with others' selfishness, and that's grace. Because honestly, we all deal with this. We've talked about this, over the past couple days. This is something that afflicts all of us. We all deal with selfishness in ourselves. We all are on a path of trying to be better. Well, maybe. If you're here, I assume you are because you're here and it's early in the morning and we talk about things that make your life better. So I would imagine, hopefully, I mean, I know Joe's pretty entertaining, but yeah, I mean, look at that guy. um, but you know, we're also trying to provide some information that might be helpful. So when you're dealing with others, you gotta understand they're selfish because I know I'm selfish, and so when I'm dealing with another person, I expect them to be thinking about themselves first. And when somebody thinks about me first, it's like super refreshing. When I'm talking to somebody and they're actually taking account of what I'm saying, it's like super refreshing. But I kind of have this default mentality of like, okay, pretty much everybody I'm going to deal with, they're kind of selfish. And so I'm going to just kind of understand that. And when I understand it and I'm willing to work with it, then, it makes things much much easier. It's like a river. You it's easier to go with the flow of the river than to try and beat it into submission and stop it and everything like that. We recently experienced this with a few dams up by where Ryan lives. So there were some dams that broke up in that area, and a whole bunch of water just went. And so when you're dealing with others, if you just understand, from a standpoint that this is how they're going to operate and you learn to work with it, it makes things so much easier. So, how do you do that? Well, one, understanding that's step number one. Two is have a little bit of grace and patience because when you know that and you're like, okay, how would I want them to deal with me in my selfishness? Well, of course, I'd want them to be understanding and want the interaction to go peacefully even though I'm being a selfish little nincompoop or whatever, right? And so when we can allow people to be themselves, we can allow people to express their own selfishness, and when we understand it, we're ready for it, I guess, right? And so then it gives you an opportunity to forgive, which is a healing experience for you, right? We've talked about that before. Forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. But it gives you that chance to be forgiving, to be gracious, to experience patience, to build in these virtues. Like it's such a great training ground for living a virtuous life, which makes us happy in the long run anyway. Ryan has talked about so many times on Don't Worry Wednesday about how important living with virtue is to our level of happiness and contentment. And it's so true. The more we live with virtue, and one of the cardinal virtues is patience, the more we can build that in ourselves, the more happy and content and at peace we are within ourselves. So it's really a great opportunity to be out in the world and to be dealing with people who are selfish, because it allows us to build that virtue. And so when you can just, a lot of it is just taking that mental standpoint before you even get into the situation where you're just ready for it. Because one of the biggest issues is when it catches you off guard, then you just start to go into reaction mode and your own selfishness starts to come out again and again and again, right? It just, so then it becomes a conflict, and then, it blows up and both people leave the interaction with a bad taste in their mouth. They're both mad at the other person. Neither one of them is going to bend to the other. There's going to be no compromise, and both people are going to end up in a worse position as a result. There's going to be pride, there's going to be standoffishness, and it's going to lower the level of virtue and happiness in that person's life. Do you ever have a phone call or an interaction with a customer service rep and things didn't go very well? Have you ever been there, Joe?
Do you mean as the customer service person or calling the customer service person?
In this case, I was saying when you're talking to the customer service person.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
all the
And like you can tell, like maybe they're having a bad day,
time.
but you don't know that. All you know is your experience, right then and there. And you think, well, that person's just a jerk. And what happens as a result, like, okay, if I get into the jerkiness and back and forth with them as a jerk, and then we're back and forth fighting, maybe not actually fighting. I sit here and talk about martial arts all the time, not fighting. But, just a battle of the wills, right? And we're trying to, you know, we're just not connecting. When I leave that interaction, I don't feel good, right? But if I take somebody's experience, and if they're having a bad day and they're acting selfishly, and I just have grace and peace and allow them to be them, what happens is they actually feel better as a result of me having grace, because their attitude starts to smooth out, and I feel better because, you know I was ready for it, and I was just like, okay, no big deal, they're selfish just like everybody else, just like me from time to time. So I can have that grace. I can extend that grace to them. And when I leave the interaction, I feel better. I feel uplifted, and I feel stronger as a result of going through that. So, really, really, the main topic for this, the main ingredient for dealing with others' selfishness is grace and love and understanding. And when you can do that with another person, you feel better and they feel better. And it it just everything goes smoother. So that's pretty much what I got about this topic. Joe, what do you have?
Yeah, I enjoy. I really think having grace with people is good for any situation, even if you're not dealing with somebody who's being a little selfish. It's just generally a good way to approach other people.
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna come at it from a different angle though, in that you still keeping in mind that that's how you want to approach people with the idea of grace. Um, there's gonna come a point at which like you have to address the elephant in the room, as it were, um, because the thing about selfishness is there are certain things we do every day that are self centered. Whether or not you find $5 on the ground, maybe you keep it one day. Like is that gonna like ruin the world? Probably not. That's probably just you found $5. It whatever it is what it is. It probably costs more to get that $5 back to somebody than it is to just keep it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gonna be little things throughout your life where selfishness just kind of it happens. But then there's another level of like somebody's being selfish to the point of it's starting to hurt other people. Um, and this is where you will have to address it. And one of the things that Joe points out, and I think is really important, is that you need to operate in this sphere with grace. Like as you address issues in people's lives, you need to operate on grace. And what does that generally mean? It's going to involve two very important things. And I'm going to speak from kind of I have biblical kind of background. One, pull the plank out of your own eye. If you are selfishly addressing somebody's selfishness, that's probably not a good way to address that. Mm-hmm. As a general rule, you don't want to do it. If you are literally taking all of the cake to eat it by yourself, probably don't want to tell somebody that they should not keep only their cake to themselves. Not a it's, you can't have your cake and eat it too, or something like that. So I mean, that's important that you're not approaching it from the same. I have this same issue, unless of course it's a loving like I've got the same problem and we're gonna work through this together. You don't want to address it from that stage. And then the bye egg, we love you. And then the second is again speaking the truth in love, which is basically this idea that you say what it is. Like you have to address issues succinctly and for what they are, not for what they're not. And this is again where the grace comes into play, where you kind of forgive pretty much as you can, and then for whatever you can't, that's it. That's the only thing that you address. You say it truthfully and you say it kindly. And this is tough. Like, don't get me wrong. This isn't something that's easy to do. It's not something that's going to be necessarily an enjoyable experience. However,
difficult.
However, the fruit that comes from living with other people and going through each other's difficulties is amazing. Learning and growing with other people is probably the greatest thing you will do in your life. And so I want to encourage you as you're going throughout your times with dealing with other people. They're going to be selfish. You're going to be selfish. And having people around you that can address the selfishness in you and let you address the selfishness in them. Those are the kind of people that you want to hang out with, because together you're going to grow to be very, very amazing people. So, again, each situation is different. Apply grace very liberally. Generally speaking, you can't throw too much on there. It's not like if you throw too much cinnamon on something and it's like, oh boy, there was too much. Nope, you can just heap that on there like, butter. Just keep throwing it on.
Yeah.
You'll never have too much. So that's all I had, Joe. Kick it back to you for any other thoughts you might have.
Well, Static says.
Bring it. I'm interested to see. You disagree? Do you think there can be more cinnamon? Put it in the chat. The more cinnamon, less butter. Who knows?
I think I'm of the opinion you can put too much cinnamon on stuff. I've experienced that before.
Yeah, wasn't there a challenge or something that people were doing? Like if you have too much, like it's really good.
I don't know. I just know that, I never understood this, but I discovered my wife puts cinnamon in pancake mix.
Okay, well, yeah.
And my oldest son was helping me make some pancakes. He's like, "Yeah, mom always puts the cinnamon in there." I'm like, "Really? That's interesting." Like, "Yeah, she puts in like a spoonful or something like that." And it's like, "Okay, well," so we grabbed a spoonful, put it in there, and it was like, "Oh, that's too much," when we finally cooked them and made them and everything. And it turns out she just puts one little sprinkle in there, like just a dash of cinnamon, just to
Dash.
kind of throw a little bit of a new, dimension onto the whole thing, right? But we just heaped a whole bunch in there. And it was like, whoa, man, that's a lot of cinnamon. Holy cow. But butter, I think you can't ever have too much butter. I think butter, you could, because whatever is left over, you just drink it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, see?
Static says there was a challenge and some people died from it, from the cinnamon. So yeah, you can have too much cinnamon, apparently.
So apply the cinnamon threshold to self-focusedness and apply the butter threshold to grace.
To
And
Grace.
that's our analogy of the day.
It's like butter. But yeah, I think the only thing that I have left is, yep, you are absolutely right. Like when you are dealing with someone else and when you are actually in a position to point out, somebody's, misgivings or their selfish behavior or whatever, because really you have to be the right person or else they're not going to listen to you, first of all. So it's going to be ineffective. And, you know, a lot of times I'm not the right person to address somebody's selfishness, right? Like your relationship has to be at a certain place in order to do that. So if I just went around to everybody that I meet and when they're acting selfishly, if I just started blasting them, like, man, stop being so selfish, like that would just start arguments, basically, right? It's like, who are you to talk to me like that? Well, I'm just telling you like it is, man. I'll just call it like I see it. Yeah, that's one of the most, I tell you, whatever. I could go down many rabbit trails with that statement, but um, but I won't. Um, but Joe's absolutely right. When you are in that proper position to address somebody's selfishness and you're actually going to have the opportunity to maybe impact it because you have that relationship, to have the grace for them is super important, and to make sure that you're not doing the same thing you're going to address, right? The whole removing the plank from your own eye before you try and remove the speck from your brother's eye, right? Like, it's, yeah, like, who am I to talk? There was a story told about of a monk that, or maybe it was the Dalai Lama or something, where a mom brought her kid to the Dalai Lama and said, "Hey, I need you to tell my son to stop this bad habit, whatever it is," right? And the Dalai Lama says, "Okay, yep, come back in 30 days." And the mom's like, "Okay." So they left and they came back in 30 days and he said, "Okay, stop doing that." And so then the mom was like, "Well, why didn't you just say that 30 days ago?" He said, "Because I hadn't stopped doing that bad habit through. So I needed to develop myself before before I could stand in the position of telling somebody else to do something. If I'm doing it and I'm telling somebody else to do it, that's hypocritical and I can't do that." So, Yeah, I had to make sure I had conquered this before I can tell anybody that they're doing something wrong here too. So the main thing still, when you're dealing with the selfishness of others, is to deal with the selfishness in yourself. It's still it boils down to, how do I make myself less selfish? Because what that does is that better equips you not only to address the selfishness in others, and to, like, when you have that right relationship with someone, to talk to them about it, and to, address an issue with grace and love and everything like that. But it also greases the skids for all of your interactions with other people who are also selfish. You're not going to respond in a selfish manner and therefore escalate the problem. You're going to throw some water on that fire and you're going to put it out. Unless it's a grease fire. Don't put water on a grease fire. Use an extinguisher. You're going to grab a fire extinguisher and you're going to it on there.
Remember to point it at the base of the flame, at the top.
Yeah, because then you just blow it.
Hey,
Doesn't do it good.
it says that this is fire safety. We're getting into that now.
Fire safety day. Ta-da!
Check the batteries in your fire alarms every 6 months.
Yep. They'll beep at you. Don't worry. But anyway, so yeah, that's, it still, again, the best way to deal with the selfishness in others is to address it in yourself, and to work on bettering yourself. And what happens is you become an example. You become something that people look to, and they're like, hey, I want to be more like that. Because then you become that person, and then you become a peacemaking, entity that just goes throughout the world and makes peace, spreads joy and love and wonderfulness everywhere you go. That's it.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Joe. I love how on this show we joke about like um, important safety tips. We're just like, yeah, we should just say this at random because it's funny, but it's also like true. Like normally when people joke about things, they're like, "Oh, this is just goofy and don't worry about it," and then they're like, "Oh, this is funny, but you should actually do it." um. So yeah, I think what Joe says goes with what we're talking about. There's a reason. If you haven't noticed, most of the weeks when we talk about things, we have this natural progression of we're going to tell you what the topic is. Then we're going to tell you about how you deal with it because it's important that you deal with it first. And then we go on to how it influences your actions with others. That's the natural progression because if you don't have that basis for dealing with the topic we're talking about, it's really hard to deal with. I was imagining as you were telling that story, like the thing that the mom wants the Dalai Lama to talk about was like cleaning your room. So the Dalai Lama has to come clean his room for like 30 days or something. I'm just imagining like a monk like picking up his toys. Like it's actual toys off the ground. Um, so
It'd be a pretty quick process because I think they have like vows of poverty and stuff like that where they don't have stuff.
yeah, I think you're right. But
Like when I don't have much stuff to pick up, it's easy to pick it all up. Like
oh
I
man,
have
right.
I have a plate and a cup.
Plate and cup.
That was easy. Oh, 30 days of that.
So like if they have vows of poverty, like what if somebody gives them something?
That's a good question. Ask them.
Okay. we're asking the big questions, guys. That kind of brings us to we're kind of at the end of the day, but that brings us to the idea of the Free for All Friday. You can really ask us any questions. If you want to know if we clean our rooms, you can ask that. That would be a very interesting question to deal with.
Yep.
Um, but I mean, feel free to ask us any kind of questions you might like. We love to answer your questions. Talk about the topics you said before. Last week was sun. That was a lot of fun. Really brightened my. I think somebody said one day we'd have to talk about puns. Forward to that day.
Yes,
That
that's in
topic.
there.
That is going to be the most fun ever.
I'm pretty sure.
Raka made it. Welcome, Raka. We're here at the end of the stream, but we're glad you're here, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to do the 3-step process. There we go. Perfect. We're thankful you kind of made it too.
Yes.
So I mean, thanks for being here, guys. Remember, grace, apply it like butter, and speak truth with cinnamon levels of additions. Too much truth could kill people. Apparently, that's what Static said. I mean,
Ooh.
Maybe not. Probably not, though. It's very unlikely. But again, be graceful to the people, graceful and forgiving to the people around you, and it's very likely that they will return that. For most people are mirrors. They're a reflection of how you treat them and how others treat them. So treat people nicely. It doesn't hurt you to treat people nicely.
Even when they're being mean to you.
Mm-hmm.
You can still be nice back. And you'll find it smooths things out.
Mm-hmm. So that's all we have for today. Don't forget to come back. It is Don't Worry Wednesday edition, which is probably the original edition.
It is.
Don't Worry Wednesday original edition.
Don't Worry Wednesday original.
So that's where this Joe A, and the Static P, who was in the chat earlier, answer any kind of questions, difficulties you are dealing with. They provide you some advice, some encouragement, definitely some wisdom. They both have. So come on back for that. That's at 9:00 Eastern time, Eastern Daylight Time, because we're in Daylight Savings Time.
EST, estimated starting time.
Estimated starting time. Perfect. And if you don't know when that is, that's 14 hours from now. So add 14 hours to whatever time it is for you. That's what time.
Yep. Or hit the bell.
Or subscribe. Channel. Hit the bell. You will be notified. And then you have to remember. It's just
if YouTube remembers to notify you, you will be notified. I've heard rumors that sometimes notifications don't go through, or maybe they get thrown in your spam box or something. I don't know. But
yeah, if you do that, you're less likely to miss out. And we don't want you to miss out because we've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Got lots of cool stuff coming up. So stick around. We look forward to bringing that to you. But see what happens. So come back tomorrow, right here on the Double Cup Joe Show.
Bye, guys. We'll see you tonight. It's going to be good. You're not even clicking me off. You're going to let me dance in front of that.